It can be so easy to allow bad habits to creep into our lives to the point where they become normal practice. Even the absence of a good practice can in and of itself be a bad practice. Now, this is as true for our personal lives as it is for professionals and their disciplines. If you are like us and strive for constant improvement, then this is the video for you. Here is a list of 5 change management mistakes that you're probably making and how to avoid them in future. If you'd like to see more content from us, then please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. My name is Nick, and we are AndChange. Change management does not occur in a vacuum. In order for it to succeed, it must be done in conjunction with both project management and leadership. These are, in essence, the 3 key elements that determine the project's health overall, and to neglect any one part of them would be to invite disaster. The ProSci methodology caters for this by leveraging the PCT assessment as the very first step when planning for change. The PCT helps you identify what needs more work and could even point out something you didn't consider before. It provides you with a specific insight into what is directly contributing to the health of your project, not just from a change management perspective, but from those of project and leadership as well. In this way, you as the change manager have a holistic view of the project health and can cater for it in your plans. The second mistake ties into the first one because it can be mitigated or identified as part of your completion of that first critical step, the PCT assessment. And this mistake is not clearly defining success. We must enter a project with a very clear vision of the end goal in mind, especially when planning. The success segment of the PCT helps us identify if success is clear and measurable by asking questions such as: are the organizational benefits fully defined? Are the project objectives fully defined? And are the adoption and usage objectives fully defined? The second step to clearly defining success is to identify your 4 Ps by answering these 4 questions. What is the project? Why are we changing? What are we changing? And who will be changing? Remember, if you don't have the end goal in mind, the path you take to get there may actually lead you down a different road. You may very well find that you've gone through the change journey, but only to arrive somewhere you didn't intend.
To ask you which way I ought to go.
Well, that depends on where you want to get to.
Oh, it really doesn't matter.
Then it really doesn't matter which way you go.
Communication between the sponsor and the change manager is crucial to enabling the sponsor's engagement with the change. In situations where the change manager doesn't have direct access to this primary sponsor, it risks a low sponsor engagement from day one. Change management, as we know, requires 3 core resources: time, money, and people. If you have less of one, then the other resources must be relied upon to fill that gap. The research shows the massive effect that sponsor engagement has on a project's success. And if the change manager can't gain access to the sponsor, then the change manager won't be able to ask them for their crucial engagement, their time. Remember to use the research to amplify what you're already communicating as a change manager. If your sponsor is unable to give you the time, then perhaps go back to your sponsor coalition and see where that sponsor's role can be distributed to others. We've said it before and we'll say it again, change starts with the individual. But what does this really look like in practice? To truly be able to focus on the individual in organizational change, we need to be able to group these people into impacted groups. These impacted groups are defined by how they experience the same change differently. Now, how we group people together is dependent on a number of factors, and that can vary from the nature of the change itself through to the complexity of the organization. This is a topic that we extensively cover in the ProSci Change Management Certification Program. Fundamentally though, if you plan for an organization as a whole and neglect to tailor those plans to those impacted groups, you're going to end up with the Swiss cheese effect. Because what works for one may not work for all. You therefore end up with pockets where the change takes place and other areas where the resistance is most prevalent. So, take your time. Identify and separate those impacted groups and never apply one plan for everyone. Resistance is a gift and you should expect it. To operate under the assumption that when you roll out this change, everyone's going to sit around the campfire happily eating marshmallows is not realistic. No matter how well you've planned, you know that there are going to be some naughty kids sneaking off into the darkness to glue everyone else's sleeping bags shut. So don't be shocked when it happens, but be prepared for when it comes. Prior to your change actually being implemented, try to brainstorm and identify possible points of resistance that people impacted by the change may have. Try to put yourself in their shoes and demonstrate empathy so that you can put the appropriate mitigating tactics in place. If you would like to know specifically what the 10 recommended tactics are for managing resistance, you're welcome to view our video on it here. If you'd like to stay up to date with the latest research and thought leadership on change management, be sure to subscribe to our channel and leave us a like for more. From myself, Nick, and all of us here at AntChange, happy changes!